Um, yeah, what was the very first thing that you said?
Well, I guess I was asking. I'm sorry, I was unclear, but you've described yourself as being for multicultural communities, but not for multiculturalism. But
Yes.
We've reached the point where we have these communities, and one of them is in context of Britain and elsewhere saying this is our religion, and this is what it prescribes for us, and that happens to be in violation of British law. So what does Britain say to that? Well, not so much only the enforcement of the law, but in what way does it explain why this is out of bounds?
Yes, I see what you mean. Yes. I mean, I think the answer to that is that there must be a common public law. That's what it means, isn't it? For all. And that whatever people's religious traditions may or may not prescribe, everyone must have the same access to public protection agencies and indeed to the courts, so that they may benefit from the provisions of public law. This in no way prevents religions or religious people from doing what they wish to do within their own communities, but public law, I mean, this is why I think the intervention that you were talking about earlier, about Sharia, was so dangerous, that it was actually compromising that distinction between what religious communities do and what public law provides. In Britain, what has happened, regrettably, this has happened in Britain, a young woman has been beaten up at home. She has gone to the police station. They have called a community officer from that same community who has taken her back home where she's been beaten up again. I mean, that kind of thing. So, I mean, I have asked again and again in the House of Lords whether the government can guarantee that the police have equal access to all parts of the country for the protection of people. I've never been given an unambiguous answer. I was once given an unambiguous answer by a minister, and I thought, great, this is wonderful. And then a week later, I got a letter from him, written no doubt by a civil servant, that qualified what he'd said in all sorts of ways. So, there you are. I mean, one of the great dangers about these arbitration tribunals is not that they are simply judging, between what religious people of a particular religion should do, but that they will be, two dangers. One, that they will prevent access to the courts for people to get their fundamental rights, and B, that the courts actually may enforce their decisions. And the jury is out on that, if one could continue the legal metaphor.
Debbie? Thanks. I'm Deborah Weiss from Front Page Magazine. I have two questions. The first one is, you said that a hadith cannot trump anything that's in the Quran, and you referred to that one statement where the hadith said you could kill someone for apostasy and said it might be unreliable. So I was a little bit confused about the relationship of the Quran and the hadith in establishing fiqh, because I think you said fiqh is like the Quran, the hadith, and a couple other things. So that was the first question. And the second question is, could you talk a little bit about the role of fitna in creating blasphemy laws and an environment where you can't talk about anything? Does the Quranic language on fitna serve as a basis for the death penalty and apostasy?
Well, could I ask Sheikh Mansour to comment on that?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Quran, this is what we have said for 30 years, and we approve it. And not only the Quranists, but even the first Imam of the Sunni schools, Imam Abu Hanifa, he confirmed this. we confirm that Quran is the only source of Islam. And it is mentioned in the Surah 5, verse 3, that Quran is, Islam is completed by ending the Quran revelation. So anything after Quran has nothing to do with Islam as a religion. It has nothing to do with Muslims. It has belonged to Muslims themselves. This is a distinction between Islam and the Quran, and Muslim as a human in their tradition, in their history, in their civilization, and everything. So what happened? You know, the Quraysh, the mighty tribe of the Prophet Muhammad, used to punish Muslims, to persecute Muslims and persecute Muhammad himself until he immigrated to Al-Madinah. So after that, Quraysh finds that its interest is to accept Islam. So after Muhammad, 1 year or 2 years after Muhammad's death, they step by step control Muslims and make a big change in Muslim history when they established the Muslim empire by the name of the Umayya and the name of Abbasi. Establishing this empire was against the Islamic rules of jihad, because jihad in Islam is just to defend, not to start war. So they have to make some justification. This justification came after that by inventing, saying, and attributing them to the Prophet Muhammad, and they call it hadith. Hadith is saying. And they call all these things as a sunnah. So my belief and our work is, what is said in Sharia, this is human-made laws attributed falsely to Islam, contradict Islam and the Quran from the beginning of its details to the main values. What they say about Ridda, there are 2 hadiths. One of them, whoever changes his religion, kill him. And I discuss in my book all these 2 hadiths. The other confirm this. Many people, even the Sunni scholars themselves, they said the hadith that is narrated through one by one hadith ahad has nothing to do with legislation. So when the legislation comes to the life, now it's nonsense to use hadith ahad or this tiny hadith in killing people, because as he said, and I admire him so much, maqasid al-sharia, or the object of the sharia themselves, they said that maqasid al-sharia is to protect life. So you cannot harm the life of people just because one hadith. And this is mentioned is mentioned by some Muslim scholar like Muhammad al-Ghazali after that. There is something. Fitna. Oh, this is. Look, Quran, when we read Quran, you know, Arabic language is the oldest language in this world. It has begun before Islam, 4th century before Islam, and after Islam. So from all this old age, it has many differences inside it. And I'm graduated from the Arabic language from Al-Azhar. So it is very, very deep language, very complex language, and it has many different terms inside it. So when you read Quran according to the Arabic language itself, the modern Arabic language, you misunderstand the Quran. When you read Quran according to the Muslim tradition, Sunni tradition, because Sunni tradition has its own terms, and Shia tradition has its own Sufi tradition. So you have to read Quran according to its unique Arabic language. As example, the word fitna in Quran Karim, it has 2 meanings, which is different from the fitna in common Arabic language. Fitna in Quran, fitna in dealing with God, means test. Test. When God make you in a fitna, that means God tests you. This is in Quran. In dealing with people, means persecution. So this is mentioned in the Quran, in the surah or chapter 2. Fitna in dealing, that means when the idol worshipper used to make Muslim in a fitna, that means to persecute them.
So when it says fight until there's no more fitna?
That means, this is talking about the rules of jihad in Quran. It has 3 categories, 3 steps: the order, the rules, and the object. Verse 190 in Surah 2, it says, وَقَاتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَكُمْ وَلَا تَعْتَدُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُعْتَدِينَ. وَقَاتِلُوا means the fight. In the cause of God, those who are fighting you, this is the rule. So the order is subject to the rule. Fight, not fight in one. Just fight only in the sake of God, those who are fighting you and do not transgress the limit. This is the rule. The object, to make the religion going to God, to judge it is the day of judgment. This is لِيَكُونَ الدِّينُ لِلَّهِ. To make the religion exclusively to God, to judge all the people is the day of judgment. This is mentioned in the same surah.
The question was, do you think you could use those phrases as a basis for punishment of?
No.
Okay, that's all I'm
No. This is difficult to that.
Well, thank you very much. Just to add to that, I mean, what I was saying was that there was one opinion that that this particular hadith could not be true because it does not cohere with what the Quran teaches and indeed the rest of the Sunnah. I think that was the position. However, there's been a reaction against that. So because people have said that, others have gone and tried to find in the Quran some way of saying there is a punishment for apostasy. And Surah Nisa, for instance, is often quoted that if they desert you, then kill them. Now, it is for Muslims either to take Sheikh Mansour's view, which we would want them to take, or to take this other view.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time.